Okay, hello there. Hey, everybody. This is Janice Anderson, and I'm excited. I haven't been live in a while, and I had to go live. I just finished a coaching call with the clients, some of the ladies in the Significant Life community, and I've heard this idea and this topic now for about 3 weeks straight with various high achieving women. And I want to just go ahead and let you know right now if you feel like you're stuck, you're not. And so I want to support you in navigating seasons of transition and tension. And I want to tell you this first thing first. Number one, sis, you're not stuck, you're scared. Okay? Go ahead and write that down and accept it as true right now. You're not stuck, you're scared. But you don't have to be, because I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you 3 things you can do right now to help you find your rhythm, even if you're in a season of tension or transition or extreme triumph. Like, this is something new. How do I find my rhythm? So the first thing you want to do is acknowledge, girl, life has changed. Life has changed, and therefore you must change. Let me just back up and say this. I'm Janice Anderson, founder of Significant Life, the place for high achieving Christian women who want to live, lead, and serve from an anchored place so that they can live lives of leadership, legacy, and fully alive. I get to do this every day, and I'm so excited about it. Let me just get back to this. I've been talking with ladies, and I found out that when we're experiencing seasons of tension or seasons of transition, our default is to feel like, I'm stuck, because what used to work isn't working anymore. What I used to do isn't helping in this current season. And so we start labeling it, and I'm like, girl, how you doing? I'm good, but I'm just stuck. I'm good, but I'm trying to find my rhythm. I'm good, but I just can't get my groove back. Okay, so sis, let me tell you one more time. You're not stuck, you're scared. Life has changed. And the first thing you have to do in order to find your rhythm after life has changed is decide and embrace the fact that you have changed too. You've changed by nature of the circumstances. And change, y'all, listen, change isn't bad. Change is just different. I remember I recently, those of you who know me, you've been following me for a while, I recently had a baby in my 40s. And having a baby in my 40s was nothing like having a baby in my 20s or a baby in my 30s. Yes, I have 3 generations of daughters. And so, I done had a baby in my 20s and my 30s and my 40s, but I'm done. And when I had the baby in my 40s, everything changed. I mean, I went through the normal gaining weight because, hello, you're pregnant. I went through that. I went through the cravings, but some other things happened too. Like, my mind wasn't the same because I had so many other things that I was working on and so many things that I wanted to do, and trying to lose that weight after 40 was a beast. And I remember when I was navigating it, I was thinking, I had done this before, so surely I can do this again. Not have the baby, but lose the weight, navigating the emotions and all of the stuff. But let me tell you something. Dropping weight after 40 ain't the same as dropping weight in your 20s and in your 30s. And so what I was doing was I was trying to do the same things I had done in previous seasons of life to overcome and to adjust to this new season of life. And can I tell you how it was messing up my whole mind? It literally was messing me up. It was causing me to think that I'm not as sharp as I really am. I'm not as quick as I really am. Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, because I'm trying to use old tactics and old strategies for this new season. And I wasn't fully embracing that life had changed. And sis, Janice, because life has changed, you too need to change. So I just want to say to you, you're not stuck, you're scared, because, sometimes change is scary. Sometimes acknowledging that, you know what? I know I used to go hard for like 10 hours straight, but right now I'm good for a good 2.5 hours, and then I need a nap. I know that I can do project upon project upon project because I'm sharp and this is what I do, and I've been doing this for 20 years. But in this season of life, yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm good with 3 projects right now. That's what my mind can take. That's what my body can take. That's the capacity I have in this season. And it may not be for every season, but in this season, that's what I need. You know, I was talking to one of my clients today, and she was reflecting on the fact that in this new season of life, you know, she's having to manage her calendar a little differently than what she did in previous seasons of life. And she's like, I can't, I'm struggling to keep up with all the things. And I could just hear her, you know, judging herself. I could hear her judging that she's not doing it the way that she used to do it. And so that has to be wrong. She's not as quick on her feet as she used to be. So surely that's wrong. You know, she's not how she used to be, and maybe what people expect from her. So surely that's wrong. And I just told her, I was like, listen, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told her today. It's not wrong. It's just different. I used to write everything down, every single thing. I would write it down. Now I'm voice noting everything. I'm voice noting it. I'm sending a memo to my team member. I'm putting it in my calendar right away, because I don't have the time all the time to write it down. I might have to speak it out. I don't have the time. Writing may take longer than what it used to. So in this season, I'm a voice recording sis. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, so yeah, you probably you used to get a long text, but now you get a long voice note. There it is. Because I don't have the time. So I'm just, hey girl, it's me. Yes, I was just thinking about this right here. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you why I got it on my mind. I was praying and I heard the Lord say this about you. And so can we just lean into this? I used to type that out. Yeah, now you got a voice note. You got a voice note, froggy voice and all. That's what you got. Because that's the season that I'm in. If I want to get it done, and I want to get it done in that moment, I have decided to embrace that my life has changed, and I am choosing to change with that. So number one, you're not stuck. You might be scared because your life has changed. And in order for you to embrace the change and move with the change and maximize the change, sis, you got to change too. The second thing is, it really don't matter what you know. You know, I work with high performing women. We are smart women. We are learned women. We study a lot. You know, we read a lot. We take a lot of classes. We go to a lot of places. You know, we know the stuff. We know the language. We know the words. We know what to do. But baby, it don't matter what you know. It only matters what you believe. It's not what you read. It's what you believe. I was talking with a sister friend, and we were just navigating, you know, I had this question. I was trying to figure out, why do some people stay stuck? And I mean, they're very smart and they're very sharp, but yet they stay stuck in cycles of complacency and in cycles of stagnation. And I'm like, why are they stuck? Because I know you know what to do, because we've talked about what to do. I know you know what's going on, because we've talked about fundamentally where this comes from. I know you know this information. And then as I was talking with my girlfriend, then I started realizing that God can give you a revelation. He can expose you to the truth, but it's up to you to accept the truth. I know, you know, we run in spiritual circles, because hello, God's girl over here. And often in spiritual circles, and when we're doing any type of inner healing work or any type of deliverance, one of the things that we say is you want to renounce, you know, come out, renounce. I renounce this idea. I renounce this belief. When you renounce something, you come out of agreement with it. So then there's this revelation of truth. There's this revelation that there's a better way. There's this revelation that, hey, this ain't working for me. That's one. So a truth is revealed, but then there has to be a renunciation of the thing that's not working. There has to be this moment where you decide to come out of agreement with what's no longer working for you. And a lot of times we know the truth, but we don't believe the truth. We are holding on to the lie. We are holding on to who we used to be. We are holding on to this idea. And sometimes the idea is something that someone said to us. Sometimes the idea is what circumstances may be trying to tell you. See, this happened because of you. It's all because you don't make good decisions. And so you're rehearsing the non-truth. You're not coming out of agreement with it. You just keep rehearsing it over and over again. So although you have this evidence that, girl, you do make good ideas. Remember when you had made this decision to go to that school? Remember when you had made this decision to put your child over here? Remember when you had made this decision to save this money? Remember you made this decision to start this business? Remember when you made this decision to leave that person? Remember when you did that and how good it was, how wise it was, how scary it was, and you did it anyway, but you did that? You have a track record of making good decisions. You can make good decisions. So we can come out of agreement with the idea that, you know what, I don't make good decisions. You know what, that ain't what I do. I'm not good with directions. Can we stop saying that? I am very good with directions when they're written down and Siri or Alexa is telling me what to do and MapQuest is telling me what to do and Waze is telling me what to do. I'm great with directions. I just need to read them. I mean, so stop coming into agreement with things. So you know the truth, but you don't believe the truth. Therefore, you stay stuck. And you stuck because you're low-key scared. Because if I embrace this truth that I am good with directions, that I am good with money, then what is going to be my excuse when I make a mistake in that area? I made a mistake. That's it. Okay. I told you you're not stuck. You might be scared. Okay. So number one, life has changed. Says in order to find your new rhythm in light of the change, I want you to embrace my life has changed and I'm choosing to change with it. Number two, it doesn't matter what you know. It only matters what you believe. In order to find your rhythm, you have to change your beliefs. And part of changing your beliefs is coming out of agreement or renouncing and rejecting anything else that is opposite of what you're choosing to believe. I was reading, I decided when I was getting ready to do this live that I would just research real quick and just get a quick definition of belief. Y'all want to hear what it is? Okay, listen. A belief means something you accept as truth. Come through Merriam-Webster. That's it. My belief is what I accept. I can't just know it. I got to accept it as true. It's an opinion or something that you hold as truth. Some of you are like, I know what it says. You know what the scripture says. You can quote it up and down, but you don't believe it for you. You don't accept it as true for you. Do you know the whole idea of spiritual warfare and this idea of being set free? And when we're waging spiritual war, as according to 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5, and I said I wasn't going to make this a sermon, but I'm going to go ahead and go here. When Paul is telling us in order though we walk in the flesh, the 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4, we don't war according to the flesh. Although you walk, breathe, and talk, and smell, and sense, and taste, and all the stuff, your flesh, your human senses. When you war, you don't war with a fist fight. You don't war cursing. You war according to the Spirit. And then he goes and tells you how to do that. He said, taking captive every thought and bringing it to the obedience of the cross of Christ. So every thought what's happening is you letting your thoughts just run wild. Oh, thought, oh, I'm fat. Oh, I'm not smart. Oh, I'm not cute. Oh, I'm just going to be stuck. Oh, it was all my fault. And you just letting that thought just fly around. No, but you take that thought captive and you bring it to the obedience of the cross of Christ. What does the cross of Christ say? What does the cross of Christ make possible for your life? A lot of us, we go to church or not. We read the Bible or not, but you don't believe it. You don't believe that it's true for you. It ain't what you know, it's what you believe. And I choose to believe what the cross makes possible for me. The cross says I can have hope. The cross says I can be free. The cross says that I am loved. The cross says that I am fearfully, wonderfully made. I believe that. I don't just know that. I'm not just reciting that, but I believe that. So if I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, although ain't nothing looking fearful, ain't nothing looking wonderful, I choose to believe that, and my actions reflect that I believe that. So I move forward from this place because I believe that there's something different. I believe that I'm better than the situation. I believe that I'm more than what I just went through. And I know it sounds real churchy. And I know it sounds real like, yeah, Janice, but you're not being realistic. But it starts here. Because if you don't believe it, you ain't going to take no steps. You're going to be scared. You're going to stay scared and stuck. I'm like, what is this? I'm hitting my paper. You're going to stay scared and stuck. Because what if I believe it? What if I believe it? I hear you. And I take the step and it doesn't work out the way that I wanted it to. And I take the step and it doesn't reap the results that I wanted to. But what if you take the step and it blows your mind? I remember years ago now, I had gone through a fire, AKA the divorce, and it was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was ugly. I just was like, and my heart was all jacked up. My mind was all jacked up. And I was saying this, oh my God, I just need to get back to where I was. I just can't wait to get back to where I was. And I was just kind of romanticizing what my life was like before I ever got married. And I was just like, yeah, and I had this, and I had this, and I had this, and I had this. And I kept saying, I just can't wait to get back, wait to get back to where I used to be, when my credit was good, when this was good, and da 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 da. And I remember Holy Spirit just tapping me on the shoulder and saying, Janice. I was like, yes, Father. It's like, you keep trying to get back to where you used to be. And I want to take you somewhere you've never been. Sis, sometimes you are stuck because you are trying to get back to a place. And you're believing that because I'm not in that place where I was, in that place where I was comfortable. Can I just go ahead and say that this place wasn't even comfortable? It was just familiar. Some of us are trying to return back to a place that's familiar. It wasn't even comfortable. Don't lie. It wasn't even comfortable. You just knew it. And God is saying, if you trust me, and if you believe me and believe in my power to heal you, to restore you, to redeem you, to bring you back, I can take you to a place that you've never been before. Okay, third thing, you're not stuck, you're just scared, is number one, life has changed. You must decide to change with it. Number two, it doesn't matter what you know, it only matters what you believe. And the third thing that's going to help you find your rhythm after you've been in a stuck place, whether it's a season of tension or transition or extreme triumph, you want to remember this. It takes courage to follow through on your conviction. It takes courage to follow through on your convictions. Let's talk about what our convictions are. Our convictions are our strong beliefs, our persuasions. I am persuaded. I am convinced that he that's done a good work in me will continue it until the day I die. I am convinced that if I believe that there's going to be a performance of the Lord of what I believe. I believe that. I believe that the grace of God is able to abound toward me so that I can have more than enough toward every good work, so that I can abound in every good work. I really believe that I'm the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. I believe that even when my credit is jacked up, even when my marriage just failed, even when my health ain't the best, I still believe it. And it takes courage to act in spite of. I'm telling you, I remember when I was going through the divorce and then, trying to rebuild and just figure out who I was and how I was going to show up again and how I was going to build this business and how I'm going to take care of these girls and, just really trying to get everything back in order. Like, how is this going to happen? I couldn't see it. And it was like, I went through this and I navigated that. And I had a history and I had a track record. But y'all, God had a history and he had a track record. And I didn't have courage to follow through on my history and my track record, but I had courage to take steps based on his history and his track record. And the way he be showing up in my life, it is crazy. It don't even be making no sense. And sometimes I didn't have, in the moments where I didn't have evidence that he can move in my life in a big way, I had evidence that he can move in somebody's life in a big way. I started looking for traces of, where did God do the impossible? Where he did stuff that don't make no sense? Because that's where my courage was resting. My courage was resting in the fact that I really believe that God is who he says he is. And if he is who he says he is, then I am who he says I am. And I have the courage to make a step based on that conviction. So my question to you is this: what are you convicted about? Where are you strongly persuaded concerning yourself about? I don't think they're about supposed to go on the end. But what's your strong persuasion? What is it? Because sometimes we don't have no strong persuasion. We ain't got no strong persuasion. We are not convinced that this is true. We don't have no strong persuasion. So we ain't got nothing to have. We don't have anything to put our courage to. But if you are strongly persuaded that God is God and he loves you, and like I like to say, you're his favorite daughter. He will move mountains on your behalf. That he will redeem you, and that he will never let you be put to shame. Because those who love the Lord, he will never let you be put to shame. If you believe that, I believe that. I believe when the scripture says, "Fear of man is a snare, but he who trusts in the Lord shall be safe." I believe that. I believe that when I trust God, I shall be safe. And because I believe that, I'm going to take a step that's a little risky. I'm going to put my toe out there a little bit because it's a little scary. Last thing I'm going to say to you as I get ready to wrap this on up, because sis, you know what? You ain't got to be stuck And you ain't got to be scared. You can find your rhythm by remembering this. Life has changed. Choose to change with it. Number 2, remember it doesn't matter what you know, it only matters what you believe. And it takes courage to follow through on your conviction. I remember it was in 2014. I was in San Antonio, Texas at a conference, and it was really good. Actually, I was in Austin. And we were at this conference. It was about 2,000 women there, and we were in a circle. And as we were in a circle, we were about to do these conversation cards. And they were asking us this question with the card. And they said, hey, read your question. I want every woman to introduce themselves based on the question that's on the card, answering the card. So my question said, where in your life are you distancing yourself from God? And, I'm like, that's interesting. Where in my life am I distancing myself from God? Now, here it is, just 2014. At the time, my consulting practice only serves Christian leaders. So most of my clients are pastors and ministry leaders. And so I'm like, surely this wasn't meant for me because I'm a Christian serving Christians. I work in the church. I love Jesus. I pray every day. I read my word. What are you talking about? I ain't distancing myself from God. But what I know about the Holy Spirit is that was not an accidental card. So I'm really feeling a kind of way. So they get to me. There's about 20 of us in a circle. And they get to me. And it's about my turn to answer. And it says, where in your life are you distancing yourself from God? So then I repeat things when I'm stalling for time. And I was still trying to get my answer together. So I read my card. Where in my life am I distancing myself from God? Where in my life am I distancing myself from God? Mind you, ain't nothing on this sticky note right here. And then I said, I distance myself from God when faced with familiar pain, and I lost it. I was like, oh, God, I'm so sorry. Because I can do the stuff I ain't never experienced before. Okay, God, we ain't never did this, but we could do this because you God. But if we had tried it before and it didn't work out, I ain't going to even lie. I'd be double dutching. God, we tried this. We did this before. Lord, the last time. And I find myself creating distance because we tried it and it didn't work out. We tried it and it stung. We tried it and I was embarrassed. We tried it, and I have no evidence that it's ever going to work because it didn't work the last time. And I realized that when I couldn't figure how it's going to work out, I started backing up. God, we good, but we ain't that good. I was like, let me go do what I know do. Well, let me go do what I am comfortable doing. Let me go do what I'm familiar with doing. So my question to you is this. Number 1, we can go ahead and acknowledge that you're not stuck. You might be scared, right? Can we acknowledge that? All right. And we can probably acknowledge that what you want to do instead of be scared is you want to find your rhythm. But my question for you is this. Where in your life are you distancing yourself from God? Because the reason it's hard for you to embrace the change and that you have changed is you have accepted what he has said about you. The reason why you are hanging on to what you know and not even identifying or addressing what you believe is because there's this distance between you and him. And the reason why you may not have the courage to follow through on your conviction is because this distance and you're not all the way convinced or convicted about what you were convicted about before. So my question is this. Not how are you going to embrace the change, not when are you going to choose to believe, not even are you going to choose to follow through. No, sis, my question is this. How are you going to close the gap between you and the distance that you have with God? Because I can tell you for each of those situations and each of those scenarios, whether I was navigating a new baby, navigating a new marriage, navigating divorce, navigating at that time in 2014, trying to discover who I am, each of those places of navigation required that I went deeper in my intimacy with God, which was kind of interesting to me as a guy girl, because I was like, how much, and I remember explicitly saying this to him, how much more closely do you want us to be? I'm already different. I'm already out here by myself. I'm already weird because I talk about you all the time. What else do you want from me? And it was in that question. It was in that question, y'all. And I'm being completely transparent. I didn't even put that on my notes to talk about, but it's when I asked the Lord that question that he began to show me a version of him that I had never seen. He began to open up places in my heart that I had closed off and that I didn't even know that I wasn't ever allowing him into. It was from that question that I got exposed to a deeper level of healing so that I could get to a deeper level of intimacy. Before, I mean, me and God was tracking real good. And I was definitely a box checker and doing the things that I knew to do and trying to honor God with my life. But in that moment, I saw something else. He peeled back another layer. And the distance between he and I began to shorten because the intimacy between he and I began to deepen. And so my question is this: in what way are you distancing yourself from God? And what are you going to do about it? All right, this has been Janice Anderson. I want to make an invitation. I pray this was helpful and that I just wanted to hop on because I hear this conversation all the time. And I know with the women that I work with, it's rarely that they need a new strategy or 17 steps, but it's just some powerful questions that they need reflected in their ears. And so we can get to the heart of the matter. And so I want to offer you this opportunity to walk more closely with me and deeply with me for the next 90 days. If you know you would love the support of a courageous, spirit-filled coach that plays no games but loves you dearly, and you want to live out your significant life journey, and you want to find, what your new rhythm is in this new season of life, and you want some structured support and accountability, wherever you're watching this video, I want you to I want you to drop in the chat, anchored, and let's have a conversation. Until then, be blessed. I talk to y'all later. Bye.